For us now, this is not a short game. We are in the automotive industry. Is long-term planning. You have to invest now for the next 10 years. And
Volkswagen CEO quoted as saying, "We could lose everything. Volkswagen won't survive this." The bombshell the CEO of Volkswagen dropped recently is quite unbelievable. Volkswagen's electric car setback rattles the EV industry, triggering financial fears and casting doubt on their ambitious plans. They made a big move that could mean we should no longer expect EVs from them. But how did this company get into such a big mess? And what's it going to mean for their future? Well, in today's video, we're going to look at the answers to these uncertainties. The Volkswagen Group, the big German car company, just put the brakes on making EVs. The electric car market is exponentially booming with its frontrunner Tesla, and Volkswagen also wants an electric shift, but faces issues with its own electric vehicles. So what's the story? Volkswagen just announced that they're cutting back on making EVs at their factory in Germany called Emden. They're saying it's because not enough people are jazzed about buying electric cars. This was totally unexpected because they were all hyped up about their fancy EV plans, especially with their ID series. But their sales fell short of what they expected by a whopping 30%. That's crazy when you look at other EV makers like Tesla, BYD, and Rivian, who are raking in sales. Tesla alone had a massive 83% jump in sales in the second quarter of 2023. Clearly, people want EVs, just not Volkswagen's. It's like Volkswagen's electric cars aren't as cool as those from Ford or BMW. So, did Volkswagen just not give customers what they wanted in an EV? Also, what's the deal with Volkswagen being low on cash? Well, Volkswagen's problems with EVs are a mix of things. On one hand, they're blaming issues on less government help, higher electric bills, and cheaper gas prices. They're looking at Ford's similar situation as an example, where the US government gave them a loan of $9.2 billion. CEO Schaefer said, "We're allowing too high costs in many areas," while dodging questions about why this crisis occurred in the first place anyway. People who actually know what's going on from the inside are saying that the company isn't running smoothly, and thus making things cost a lot, which is how they ended up where they are now. Even the CEO of Volkswagen Passenger Cars, Thomas Schaefer, said that things are really hard for the company, and they need to cut costs right away. That's a sign that the problems are deeper than just what's happening in the market. Because of all this, Volkswagen is making fewer cars now. They told 300 out of the 15,000 workers at the Emden factory that they won't have jobs after August, and the factory that's supposed to make electric cars will be shut down for 6 weeks. People are worried about their jobs in the company and also about the electric car industry in general. But it's not just about the workers. Volkswagen's financial situation is also in trouble. They're trying to make more money by making fewer cars, which sounds good, but it might not work if they keep falling behind in the electric car game. Other companies are moving faster, and Volkswagen might lose its share of the market. And on top of that, they're not coming out with new car models very quickly. They were going to release the Volkswagen ID.7 sedan soon, but they've pushed it back. That's not going to help them get customers excited about their new electric car technology. It's pretty obvious that Volkswagen's plan to switch to EVs has hit a big roadblock. We don't know yet if this is going to be a big disaster or just a little hiccup, like when a car skids off the road for a bit, but then gets back on. Time will tell. One thing we know for sure is that everyone's going to be watching Volkswagen closely as they try to fix this mess of losing money. In China, which is a really important EV market, Volkswagen only sold a little over 12,000 electric cars in 3 months. That's not great, especially when you compare it to Tesla, which sold a crazy 28,000 cars just in June. So Volkswagen's not doing so well compared to them. This is making people worry about whether Volkswagen can do well in the electric car business, where a lot of companies are fighting to be the best. Christian Dahlheim, CEO of Volkswagen Financial Services, is pretty sure that things will get better once they launch the Volkswagen ID.7. He thinks that the car will give the company the boost that they really need right now. We're anticipating a significant acceleration in BEV deliveries in the third quarter thanks to the expanded Volkswagen ID family, he said, to help us understand the difficult times that are coming. However, if we look beyond the optimistic surface, the numbers actually show a pretty harsh truth. Volkswagen has usually been really popular with people in China who are buying cars, but in the first 6 months of this year, it's slipped to being just one hanging on to the top 10 companies. making battery electric vehicles, or BEVs. Nowadays, people in China who are getting wealthier seem to like other electric cars more, such as the Tesla Model Y or the BMW iX3. This just makes Volkswagen's problems even worse. Bernstein analyst Arndt Ellinghorst mentioned in a research note, China EV buyers seem to be less impressed by the model's software features and infotainment system. This comes after unsettling insurance data that shows only 434 units of the ID.6 were sold last month, making things even worse. Volkswagen's profits in the first quarter took a massive hit, dropping by 31% to 5.7 billion euros compared to 8.3 billion euros at the same time last year. Even though there was a 22% increase in sales revenue, mostly because sales in Europe and North America picked up, this decline reveals a harsh truth. Volkswagen is losing ground in the Chinese market and desperately needs to catch up with its competitors in the electric vehicle market. Volkswagen's chief financial officer, Arno Anteles, attempted to put a positive spin on the situation, saying, quote, "We had indeed a really encouraging start into the year of 2023. So the deal is, he's saying that things are looking up for the company. Revenues and profits are on the rise, which sounds great. But let's be real. These words don't really make you feel better when you got a bunch of problems piling up, and competition just keeps getting stiffer. However, Volkswagen is setting itself up for a big turnaround. Schaefer came up with some performance programs to cut costs by $11.2 billion in just 3 years. Thomas Schaefer spilled the beans on this master plan to make the company solid financially and to set it up for the long haul. They're calling it Accelerate Forward, Road to 6.5, and the main goal is to pump up Volkswagen's profits to a super impressive 6.5%. Volkswagen aims to secure growth by investing in new technology, updating factories, and training staff. They plan to release more electric models, including the ID.7 Compact and potentially an all-electric Beetle, reaffirming their commitment to eco-friendly initiatives. The quote, Accelerate Forward Road to 6.5 plan signals a shift. Volkswagen is streamlining to increase profits. Fewer models, fewer options, all for the sake of simplicity and bigger earnings. The focus is on boosting profits and accumulating funds, reflected in the aim to reach a 6.5% profit to sales ratio by 2026. Despite the ambitious target, the CEO is confident with success, potentially yielding around 10 billion euros. Here's the kicker. Tesla is kind of blowing Volkswagen out of the water. Even though Tesla's had some problems, they're still outselling Volkswagen by a long shot. Almost 386,000 electric cars from Tesla versus just 171,000 from Volkswagen in the first half of the year. Most of Volkswagen's electric cars got scooped up in Europe, where they have some strict rules about carbon emissions. But what about the US? Only about 11% of Volkswagen's electric cars went there in the first 6 months. And check this out. Volkswagen's sales of electric cars in China are getting crushed by Tesla. They just announced their numbers for the second quarter, and they only sold around 12,000 electric cars in China. Keep in mind they sold more than 111,000 cars across the world during the same time, and Tesla managed to sell 28,000 cars in China just in June alone. Volkswagen sales head Christian Dahlheim vows to boost EV sales in China next quarter, banking on the new Volkswagen ID.6 SUV tailored for the Chinese market. But competition from local options like Tesla Model Y and BMW iX3 is a concern. Nevertheless, China is vital to Volkswagen's electric plans. Despite the initial lukewarm response, Volkswagen aims to rapidly advance in China's EV market to reclaim prominence. Acceleration in BEVs is a must, says Volkswagen's China sales team. However, the outcome remains uncertain. What steps should automakers take to thrive amidst this change? Do you think the Volkswagen EV business will eventually prevail? Only time will tell, but share your perspectives below and keep the conversation going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching.